My name is Jennifer Howard. I'm the director of the Turner Senior Wellness Program. Very happy to have you all here to talk about transportation options. And we're very proud to have Tracy Bird here as our presenter today. And I understand we might have another presenter joining in a little bit later to give us even more information. But with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to you, Tracy. And if you need anything, just let me know. I'll be right here in the background.
Well, thank you, Jennifer and Aisha. We had started this a little bit earlier, and I went to mute my phone on the computer, and then I see that I accidentally messed up on how I'm sharing my screen. So I humbly apologize that I probably need to be walked through that process again, so you can actually see the correct screen. I know I want to share my screen, correct?
Correct. Yep. Go ahead and share your screen.
Hit the second one. Okay.
And then you'll just click on your PowerPoint. Of course, you're not sharing quite yet. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. And now you should be able to just hit from beginning in the upper left-hand corner.
Okay. And you can see actually my PowerPoint now, huh?
I can, but you'll want to click from beginning so we don't see all your slides.
Okay, there, that, I kept clicking, it was all right.
You're all set.
Thank you so very much. So again, my name is Tracy Bird, and I am the travel trainer. As you can see on my first slide here, that I'm the travel trainer, the ADA eligibility specialist, and the reasonable modifications coordinator here at the Ride. And I want to talk to you about all of our different transportation options, not just at the Ride, but also give you some options for other transportation that is not part of our family of services, but different resources that partners that we work with, as well as actually there's a couple others that are not necessarily partnership with us, but I think are valuable resources. So I'll start first with the Gold Ride program. Let's see, for some reason, there we go. Gold Ride. Gold Ride is for any person 65 or older. And what that does is that gives you eligibility to be able to ride our public buses free of charge. It also does provide a shared ride service within our service area. And for those of you who may have had Gold Ride and used it prior to, I think everything is pre-pandemic right now. And so prior to 2020, and you notice that you would call a ride, it would be a price, and you would be able to travel anywhere within the city limits of Ann Arbor. However, that program went away. It was revamped, and to make it more equitable for all of the members of our community, we have extended that out to Ypsilanti and Ypsilanti Township, but also the price then was adjusted with that. So the Gold Ride service basically goes anywhere within 3/4 of a mile of a regular fixed bus route, again, within the city of Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Pittsfield, and Ypsilanti Townships. There is the cost, and some of you who've probably called, the cost has gone up quite a bit. However, for individuals who have a lower income, and if anybody has any questions on what those are, I can answer that a little later on. But if you do have a lower income, we do have income eligibility for individuals who qualify. We would just ask that you go to one of our participating agencies, and then they vet you for that income. And of course, then it reduces the price of the shared ride service for Gold Ride. We also have A Ride. Many of you know it in the community. You've heard it as Paratransit, A Ride, or Green Card. And A Ride, or I will interchange it between A Ride and Paratransit, mostly through my presentation. But keep in mind, people in the community call it a Green Card as well, because it has a green stripe at the bottom. I probably could go off screen in a moment and show you actually what those cards look like. So Paratransit is mandatory for any public transportation authority or any agency providing public transportation, and it's under the Americans with Disabilities Act, states that basically any person who has a disability who's prevented from riding regular fixed bus routes must have a level of service that that person can use to get to where they need to go. So again, ADA paratransit is defined under the Federal Transit Administration and the ADA as a safety net for persons whose disability prevent them from riding regular fixed bus routes. And there is, I will go back to this. It does have the words on there. The system is not intended to meet all transportation needs of all persons with disabilities all the time. And I'll explain that just means that paratransit and how it works is it's a comparable level of service to, in our case, regular fixed bus routes. For agencies that have trains or ferries, it would be based upon their routes as well and times. So paratransit A-Ride runs when our regular fixed bus routes run in the areas that it runs. So I know sometimes individuals say, well, I need paratransit at 5 o'clock in the morning. And this is where we mean it is that it may not meet your needs all the time, is that it does not run at that time because currently we do not have buses that run at 5 o'clock in the morning. But if you stick with the presentation, you'll find that, well, we might have some solutions for that as well. So we have so far Gold Ride. Gold Ride is for persons 65 plus, only qualifications. Paratransit has a little bit different qualifications, but I've skipped ahead of myself. Sorry about that. I should probably look at my own slides. Going back, what a ride or paratransit is, it is a shared ride service. It's reservation based. All of our vehicles are provided and accessible. All of our rides are provided in accessible vehicles. You've probably noticed them on the roads. They might be a low floor minivan, a Ford Transit, or what you can call a traditional lift bus. So now you know what a ride is. How do you apply? Of course, you can always call our office here at the ride. And I will make sure that these slides are sent out to you all so you can have the information that I'm talking about here today. You can request by calling our office or going to theride.org. And let me also state for A-Ride Paratransit, A-Ride Paratransit is not an age base. Gold Ride, age base. Paratransit is based upon not just a diagnosis or a disability, but how that disability or functional limitation prevents a person from riding regular fixed bus routes. So a lot of times I have individuals say, well, I'm 80, and being 80 can mean that you're very active, or it means that you're not very active. So it's not an age base at all. It again is based upon how you are able to ride the bus, or more so what your limitations are and why you can't ride the bus. And I will tell you, that's probably one of the biggest questions whenever I receive the A-Ride applications, or when somebody receives an A-Ride application, they might call and say, this is asking about the bus. Why is it only asking about the bus? I can't ride the bus. That's why I'm applying for this. And I try to let individuals know that is why we're asking those questions, because we're trying to see what your mobility is, what you're able to do, and then also in this case, what you're not able to do. But when in doubt, always give me a call. Hopefully I will be able to explain it to you and we can have a great conversation about it. So 2 programs so far, Gold Ride and A-Ride. And now we have Flexride service, which Flexride is a connector service of sorts. And there's Flexride East that provides transportation from Ypsilanti Township, and it provides a direct connection to the Ypsilanti Transit Center, also to Paint Creek Shopping Center, the library on Whitaker Road. And then Flexride West is, again, that same connector service, but that's in Pittsfield Township. So for For those of you, if you yourself or if you know someone who lives, I'm just going to say an address, Bridge Road in Ypsilanti Township, you might know that the nearest bus is quite a distance away. It's probably a good, I would say, 20-minute walk. That's not doable for a lot of people a lot of times, especially if there's no sidewalks available. But Flexride actually is a service that you can call. There's many different ways that you can get a ride. You can call, you can download Mode Car app. But I did leave information on how you can get more information for Flexride services. But that you can call Flexride. That is a same-day on-demand service that can help connect you to either a location such as the Whitaker Branch Library, Paint Creek Shopping Center, or to the Ypsilanti Transit Center, so you can then take your bus into wherever you needed to go. Flexride West, again, is in Pittsfield Township. Let's just say that, say you live off, I'm not as familiar with, say there's off Michigan Ave, you live by Walmart in Pittsfield Township, the Walmart on Michigan Ave. You could actually request, again, the same type of service, but that service is Ann Arbor. So it would bring you into our service area, such as a good transfer point might be Meyer on Carpenter Road or Costco. Meyer on Carpenter Road does directly link you to our fixed bus routes, route number 5B as in boy, 6 and 66. And of course, then you could come into our service area. Costco, if you go there, you can go directly to Costco, but if you're trying to link, you would actually have to walk out to State Street to catch our public buses there. So that is our family of services for the ride that gets you around town. I also think it's very important. I want to give just a special mention to two different programs. The one is the Wave, and that is connecting to Dexter, Chelsea area. I have their information here. So, because I don't work for the Wave, I can't tell you all the ins and outs, but I will tell you that just recently I rode to Chelsea using the Wave. I'm embarrassed to say it's the first time, but I did do it and it was a great experience. It does take a little while, so take a book or a book on tape so you can listen to, because it is public transportation, does go around about, but it's a wonderful, wonderful service, and it does help connect you from Ann Arbor to Dexter, Chelsea. You might wonder how you get to the Wave. If you ride our public buses, you can catch the Wave by going to Meyer on Jackson Road, Jackson and Zeeb Road. That is route number 30. If you look at the Wave schedule, you'll be able to see when you can link up with those buses. I believe it comes every hour. And if you go to their website directly, you will find that they actually have a commuter service that then goes on to Manchester. So if you're looking at transportation, further out into Washtenaw County, I would definitely contact the Wave for that. There's also People's Express, and People's Express is in the city of Saline. Again, their information is here for you. They do assist sometimes bringing people into, from their service area into the city of Ann Arbor. But again, since I do not work for them, I can't give specifics of their service. And then we have, our, sorry about that, guys. For some reason, my next slide isn't going over. There we go. Guess I just needed to push a little harder. And then we have two places that our partnership with the ride, and that is the D2A2 and the Michigan Flyer. The D2A2 connects Ann Arbor with Detroit. They do go hourly, 7 days a week. The weekends, it isn't as often, but you can go to www.d2a2.com, of course, to get their schedules. I believe the prices just went down a little bit, so it's $8 each way. And then, of course, we have the Michigan Flyer. The Michigan Flyer connects East Lansing to Ann Arbor and then the Detroit Metro Airport. You can catch either one of these rides close to the Lake Transit Center. They actually pull up along 5th Avenue between the library and the Lake Transit Center. So those are great options as well for getting around in the community, even outside of the Ann Arbor area. And then I couldn't resist. I wanted to do my plug. My title is travel trainer. That is what I do most of the time. And what that is I provide one-on-one or group training for individuals who want to learn how to ride the bus. My primary customers are older adults as well as persons with disabilities. However, I do assist anybody who is trying to learn our bus system. I wanted this to be last because I wanted you to feel that I wanted this to be fresh in your mind. So if you are want to learn how to ride the bus or just have some brief questions, please feel free to give me a call at any time. If you have any questions, again, you can contact me directly. You can contact the Ride's main office or a Ride. All of their information is here. I do like to give the disclosure that if I'm doing my job well, I am away from my desk more than I'm at my desk. So keep that in mind if you leave a message for me. I generally do change my voicemail. So if you're leaving me a message, you know exactly when I'll be back or when I'll be returning your phone call. So with that, I was hoping that maybe Rebecca from AARP would be on the call because I wanted her to be able to share some of their services. Jennifer Naisha is she on the call at all? No.
Her name is Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, she is here.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm gonna say, let me see if I can find her.
Okay. And as you're trying to find her, Jennifer, Rebecca is from Phoenix Mobility Rising. Oh, you know, I think it's supposed to be FEONX. That's why I had a mistype on there.
Okay, I am promoting Rebecca to panelist. Rebecca, you should pop on the screen shortly. I don't know if you're expecting that, but that's what we're doing. There she is. Like, oh, I hope I got the right Rebecca. Okay, and you'll want to go ahead and unmute yourself, and then you should be good to go.
Oh, sorry about that. Thought I was. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Perfect.
So I'll make this quick. And
when you're done, just really quickly, Rebecca, sorry, but as soon as you're done, we'll also we'll let folks ask questions. If you want to remain here, we'll have questions for you or Tracy. And I put this in the chat, but if anyone has a question, go ahead and type that into the Q&A, and those questions will queue up. I know I've already got one waiting for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you, Tracy, for including me in this presentation. I'm really excited to share more about this. And Just really appreciate what the AATA does for the community. So thank you again. I'll make this very quick, and if you do have any questions, I'll stick around. But the Ride at 50 Plus program has been in Washtenaw County for about 20 months now. And so really the purpose of this program is dedicated to enhancing access to transportation options in Washtenaw County. And it's really targeted for older adults and underserved populations. Phoenix Mobility Rising, which is the organization I work for and employed by, has been operating this program in other communities for about 3 years. So we have this program in Columbia, South Carolina, as well as Dallas, Texas. And really the goal is to get you from point A to point B with whatever means necessary. So some more information about the program. It is a mobility as a service program and a tool that can be utilized to fill transportation gaps in Washtenaw County. So we offer multimodal ride sourcing from several local transportation options. And so some of them were actually listed on this presentation, but we have rideshare, we have volunteer drivers. You can see the AATA bus feed if it is within that searchable area. We have specialty services, and then we also have taxi cabs. This service is targeted for individuals age 50 plus, as well as underserved populations in Washtenaw County, but anyone can use this program. Like I could personally go ahead and book a ride for tomorrow if I'd like. We have 3 different access points for users to book rides. So you can call our call center, you can use our online platform, or you can download an app to book your rides. So it's pretty accessible and kind of meets you where you're at technology wise. It also allows for some organizations. We have some great community organizations on board that book rides for their participants. So we have quite a few organizations, including some Silver Club in the past have been, booked rides for their participants. So we're really grateful to have them on board, and just other organizations such as social service organizations and clinics and etc. So there are a lot of people invested in this program. There's also a lot of training options. So we do in-person trainings, which is me. I have virtual trainings, which I will hopefully have one coming up after Labor Day. And we really are here, to answer any questions. And so you're not, feeling confused or unsure of how to use this program. We want to make sure that it's as accessible as possible. And then the last thing I'll mention quickly is that we are not only here to provide this program, but we're working with community partners to address transportation gaps in Washtenaw County. So we host a mobility leadership circle, and that brings organizations who are either in transportation or affected by transportation to talk about the things that are needed in terms of transportation and its issues within the county. Some of the transportation options that I had mentioned, we have rideshare services, so think of Lyft and Uber. We have specialty transportation services, so if you need a wheelchair assist or wheelchair lift. We have our traditional taxi cab companies as well. We have volunteer drivers, which is our most affordable option, but it does need a little more lead time in terms of booking. And then we also have, like I mentioned before, public transportation. So both the Wave and People's Express are on there, and you can also see a bus route if you are near a bus line. Of course, I've mentioned who can use the Ride at 50 Plus program, but it is open to everyone. You do not have to have an AARP membership. And like I said, training's available to everyone as much as possible. Then the rides are mostly within Washtenaw County, but as long as that ride begins or ends within the county, you can go anywhere you want. We do have providers that will go into Wayne County, will take folks to the airport. Maybe you're looking to go north into Brighton or somewhere there. And I know that we have some folks that kind of live on that county border, but our providers will definitely go where it's needed. Like I mentioned before, we have some, access points. So we have our call center, which is a toll-free number, which I can leave at the end if I can pop in the chat box. We also have our online booking and a smartphone app, which is called the Phoenix app. If you have bought something online, most likely you'll be able to use our online services as well. It's pretty straightforward, but our call center is always available to answer, any questions you may have. So one of the reason why we're here is to increase access to transportation, right? We have some really great people in our community and organizations, but we know that sometimes there may be some rides that they may not be able to meet in other parts of the county, or there may be some times of the day where you need to go and there's not someone there for you. This is here for you so that you can get where you need to go. It doesn't matter the trip purpose or anything like that. If you want to go shopping, if you want to go to services, if you want to just go get your hair done, whatever it may be, this program is here for you. And then we also have really great safety standards for our providers. We're making sure that they are adhering to protocols, and we hold them to a high standard because we know that we want this program to be as smooth and seamless for the rider as possible. Like I mentioned, there's some organizations, and then of course there are some trainings. I'll go over this quickly, but there is this website right here, which is aarp.org/ride Washtenaw. And if you use that website, you can see more of those training options. You can register for an upcoming training, or you can always call our call center with any questions you may have. I will skip over these really quickly, but I do have some training options for you. And then this is our Mobility Leadership Circle, which, like I mentioned before, is our group that is invested in transportation access for all. So I will also skip over this, but thank you for including me. I really appreciate it, Tracy and Jennifer and Nisha. I just am grateful to share more about this program.
Thank you, Rebecca. We do have a few questions. If you don't mind, we can jump into those. The first one I think you answered, but I'm not sure if this covered everything, but do all or most rides have age requirements?
I was going to say for the ride, only the Gold Ride, which I actually take myself off camera. This is the Gold Ride. Oh, can you see it? I don't know. Gold Ride card. Oh, this way. Sorry. Our Gold Ride card, this is the only age base. This is 65 plus. But our Paratransit, our green card that looks like this, or it might look like this, I'll explain both of those in a moment, that is not age base. This is based upon disability or limited physical limitations or functionality to be able to ride our regular bus routes. So no age limit on this one, or this is not age based. So I hope that answers that question.
I think it does. Thank you. And then I think, Rebecca, you already answered the next question, was that for AARP, you're not required to be an AARP member, correct? So just to clarify.
Yeah, just to clarify, you do not have to have AARP membership.
Okay, fantastic. So the next question is, what are some lower cost, I think they mean options for seniors who are not handicapped but do not handle the bus easily?
Okay, so I guess maybe I need to ask a little bit more, what does handle the bus easily? So within that, I'll go ahead and answer how I think it might be. I know a lot of times, especially when Gold Ride, quote unquote, when we suspended that service, I had a lot of older adults calling me and saying, I don't have a disability. What do? I can't get places. And I understand we do not, sometimes we say, well, I've never been diagnosed with a disability. But the question I might ask you is, are you on your best day? Are you able to walk to and from the nearest bus stop? And if somebody says, oh, my best day, I can do a lot of things, but I have arthritis and, you know, I have flare-ups quite often. And I can barely walk to the end of my porch. And then I would say, well, it sounds like you have some functional limitations that prevent you, some pain that prevents you from riding the bus. In that case, I would suggest go ahead and apply for a ride. Even though you state that you don't have a diagnosed disability, sometimes things such as, you know, severe osteoarthritis, arthritis, visual disabilities, that might mean that we have low vision, we're not able to see the bus numbers or safely navigate on a road that doesn't have sidewalks or curb cuts that are in poor repair, things like that. So that's still, so paratransit or A-ride still might be an option for you. And then of course, AARP, and I know that Rebecca, you'd stated that you have another engagement at 10:45. So if you need to jump in, but AARP, right, at 50 plus would possibly be an option for you. And I do know that Jewish Family Services does have great transportation. They're also a partner, correct, Rebecca, with you all. But of course, you can contact them individually. So I hope I answered your question.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, there are no other questions in the Q&A right now, but I have a few questions that I'm hoping we can use to clarify. So Rebecca, I saw that you have a 1-800 number, which I think you were going to put into the chat, which would be fantastic. Is that, I think what a lot of people need is they just know that they need transportation, but they would love kind of like a one-stop shop where they can just call and say, you know, here's my situation. You know, I have limited income, you know, limited mobility. I need to get from here to there. I don't know what my options are. Would that be the best option to call that 1-800 number? Or what would you tell those people in terms of like, you know, they don't know any of the programs, but where's the best first place to go if they have questions?
So I would, you know, we definitely have a lot of different options in terms of both like accessibility, cost, types of transportation, and, you know, the understanding that, you know, there are different places you need to go, right? That may be outside of the AATA's kind of boundaries. And so I will say that this is a program that is at cost. We recognize that people in every community that Phoenix serves, as well as the AARP Ride at 50 Plus program, that free or low cost transportation is needed. And so we work very hard. I mean, I'm in the process right now of making sure that we have funds to support those who may not be able to afford a ride. Our volunteer program is the most affordable option. It does need a little more lead time for booking, but I will say that it is more than 50% less than a Lyft or an Uber. If that is, you know, if you can't use, you know, any of the AATA programs and you need to look towards AARP. Now, if we cannot book a ride for you, we do suggest other providers. So for instance, as Tracy mentioned, Jewish Family Services is one of our providers on our program, but we do know that they have a sliding scale fee program that they offer to the community. Just through our services, though, they kind of have a flat rate. So we do share other options if it isn't the, like, if we aren't the right option, we will make sure that you are connected to another organization that can help you out.
Okay, I appreciate that. Tracy, I see that you put a message in the chat that just came to us. So I'm going to try to see if I can copy paste that out to everyone. Yep, I think it worked. Okay, now I think it's out to everyone. So I know that a lot of individuals are looking for door-to-door. service. They need door-to-door service. Could you just recap again what the best options that you know of within Washtenaw County and outlying areas are when somebody needs door-to-door? And maybe you can explain what door-to-door means better than I can. I know we get asked that a lot.
Okay, well, for a ride that does provide, actually, we use the term origin to destination, because that means that they pick up at say your home and take to your destination night stays. You can tell I'm always hungry because I always say nights, or a doctor's appointment, but life isn't always about doctor's appointments. But an origin to destination is what a ride does provide. If someone needs a little bit more assistance, such as an arm or an elbow, for transportation, our drivers can provide that, and that would be what we would consider a reasonable modification or accommodation for that rider. And of course, that is noted on there that they might need some extra assistance getting to and from the vehicle, or from the vehicle to their destination. And then Rebecca, I didn't know if you needed to add anything as well.
That's a great point. We do have options for those who may need that door-through-door assistance, but that does come at, there are different providers who offer that just because of, their policies and everything. So it may change what's available, but it is an option for us.
And I do believe that Jewish Family Service does have also that concierge service. So if even somebody, I know that sometimes I have people say, well, I'm having cataract surgery and somebody has to be with me. I believe that you can contact them. Of course, please call them directly. I have their number is 734-769-0209. Call them directly, but I do believe they do have volunteers or people that can go with you to your appointments as well. One thing I see that we have a question. Can I go ahead and answer this question that I see a bit urgent?
Yeah, one came in through the chat. Please do.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. As I'm sitting here trying to think of every option that would come up, I forgot, and that I'm so embarrassed about, night ride and holiday ride. That it's called late night and holiday ride now. You can tell I've been around a little bit because the name has changed. There is an option through the ride that, again, is late night or holiday, and that is a number that you can call for transportation within Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti cities. So if you have that early morning MRI appointment, or you have to work on Thanksgiving Day, those options are available. I do know with the millage that just passed, the service area is going to be expanded a bit for night ride and holiday as well. So you do have those options. And then I know you said for St. Joe's, I had stated that you can take the bus, if you're taking the bus, route number 3 or number 24, goes directly to St. Joe's. Also, Gold Ride does go there, as well as A Ride, because that's within our base service area.
All right, thank you. And there was a question asking if we could put Jewish Family Services number in the chat. I don't know if either of you have it close by, or if you have a number for that late night and holiday ride. I'm happy to type that into the chat right now. And if you can say it out loud for the people watching the recording later, because I don't think people who are watching the recording are going to be able to see the chat.
Yes. So Jewish Family Services, again, their phone number is 734-769-0209. And late night is 734-528-5432. All of our information on that can also be found at theride.org. So, and I am so sorry, I can't believe I completely forgot that one. It's embarrassing.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, and Rebecca, is there anything else you wanted to add? I know that you said that you had just until about 10:45.
No, I'm thankful for being here, and I will also put in my email address if there are any questions in the future, just so that you have my information.
All right, thank you so much, Rebecca. And did we have any other questions? We, even though this is a virtual presentation, I think we had at least one or a couple people who came here to the center who are watching this live. Nisha, did we have any questions in the room? And if anyone has any other questions, please type those into the Q&A.
You know, I do see that I see a question about urgent or after hour options. I didn't actually address the urgent. Being public transportation, we do not provide urgent or emergency services. Gold Ride is an on-demand service, so you can call, and if they have availability, but if you do have an urgent or a medical issue, we would say, of course, call 911. Huron Valley Ambulance does also have a transportation program for non-emergency services. I do not have that number readily available, but I can look it up. There could be a cost. The cost might be a hindrance of that, but it is also an option. Let me.
Okay. While you're doing that, there was another question that came in asking about the millage, and it says, will the millage just pass reinstate low-cost cab rides for seniors?
No. The way that Gold Ride is as of right now is the way it's going to remain, as far as I know for that. Keep in mind that if you do have an income, I'm going to mess up the actual dollars. If you have an income that is $19,000, I think it's $340 annually. If you are at or under that, for a single person, you can qualify for the income reduced fare card, and then that fee would be $5 each way versus the $20. Jewish Family Services and Catholic Social Services are both agencies that vet individuals. They look at income. We do not do that ourselves here, but you can go to one of those two agencies and ask them to assist you with the application for the reduced fare for the Gold Ride program.
Okay, I appreciate that. I know here at the Turner Senior Resource Center, we get a lot of questions about transportation, and the $20 ride has been a real hindrance for a lot of people and unrealistic for most.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think Nisha had just messaged me. She said there's a question in the room. I think she's going to ask.
Yes, so we have a question here in the room.
First of all, I want to know I missed what she's talking about. What's the $5 that they're talking about?
She's asking what's the $5 that you're talking about?
So for individuals,
What is it you're talking about? She's asking me to relay a question, but I'm trying to listen to what you're saying at the same time. So I'm getting a little frustrated.
It's
So I
fine.
missed what you said. You're talking about something about $20, and then if you're low income, it's $5. I have no idea what you're talking about.
so if you have, and because I have a blurry screen. Okay, if you have this card, that's a Gold Ride card, this allows you to ride our regular fixed bus routes free of charge. However, and it also allows you to book those rides for $20. However, if I'm so sorry, Nisha, I might hear you.
Okay.
It'll be best. No one on the Zoom can hear somebody in the room except for Nisha. So Nisha, if you want to ask a question or type it in, I think that would be best.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
You're on mute, Jennifer.
Of course, I just muted myself.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay, so if you have then this card, you can book that trip for $20. I know that that's a very expensive option. If you have an income that is lower, and I apologize, I can bend down to actually grab it. Hold on just one moment. Sorry about that. If your annual income for a household of one is $19,320 or less, you can apply for the income qualified Gold Ride card. This would allow you to book your trips through the same provider, which is Golden Limousine, that provides the Gold Ride service. But you would pay $5 versus the $20. We do have many different providers, but Jewish Family Services and Catholic Social Services are two of the agencies that can help someone qualify for that. They can fill out the back of the application that qualifies the individual for that reduced fare. Does that answer the question?
Okay, and I think we've had some more questions come through. We have one, let's see, yeah, the $20, that's $20 each way, is it not?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, I think that will answer a couple of these questions. And somebody just said what trip can be booked for $20, but I think you just answered that.
Yeah, it's any trip. So it can be social, it can be a medical,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will also say that if anybody has any follow-up questions, you can call the Turner Senior Resource Center because we have all of the information on the things that Tracy had talked about, and she has left information with us. We have information about AARP as well. And I just put our phone number in the chat. So if there are any, later clarification questions, or if somebody is just having a hard time sorting through this and trying to figure out what the best option for you is, feel free to give us a call, and we'd be very happy to try to walk you through it and get the information to you that you need. And I think we've had another question pop in the Q&A. Oh, somebody would like to know Rebecca's email, which I think I have somewhere, so I can pop it in. I think Rebecca put it in the chat, but I'll put it in the chat again.
And I did also, I think I just sent it to you all, Jennifer and Aisha, the Huron Valley Ambulance non-medical emergency number. It is a toll-free number.
Okay, let's see. I am getting Rebecca's email in the chat, and then I will put the Huron Valley information in the chat as well. There we go. Which, for those who are just watching the recording, Huron Valley Ambulance is 800-872-1111. So yes, and the Turner Senior Resource Center is 734-998-9355. Actually, I should have said 9353. I put my direct number, which is fine. You can call me too. But the main number is the one that I just put in, 998-9353. Yes, and does anyone have any other questions?
And while we might be waiting for some questions, I see one just popping up. But let me also let you all know that we are our own best advocates, and I would highly recommend, suggest, if you have suggestions, concerns about any of our programs, cost of programs, we do have board meetings that are open to the public. They meet actually both virtually and in person now. The board meetings, you can find information about that at theride.org. But they also do meet the third, I'm going to get this wrong, I betcha, the third Thursday of each month at 6:30 at the main branch library on 4th in Ann Arbor. Again, they have a virtual option as well. So, you know, we have voices, make them heard.
Agreed. I know transportation continues to be quite an issue. If there is anything that I think we have the toughest time with helping folks with, it's transportation. And there are a lot of people who work with older adults in the community who are meeting regularly to try to think through some of these issues and some of these problems. I would absolutely invite anyone who's had, you know, any issues with transportation or has thoughts or ideas, feel free to reach out to me also. I serve on some of those groups with other providers in the county that are trying to come up with solutions. So you can call the Turner Senior Resource Center if you would like to discuss it further. And I think with that, Tracy.
I have one more question in the room.
Yes.
The question is with the late night service, can that service be used to go to St. Joe's currently?
No. As it stands right now, no, St. Joe's is out of the service area. However, with the millage, and I'm looking at this, it will expand the, let's see, to all the city of Ypsilanti and Ypsilanti Township north of Texel Road. So I believe it will be expanded out to that. I would have to get clarification though. I believe it is going to be though.
Thank you.
I can email you if you want to get that participant's that individual's phone number or such, and I can send that to you once I get clarification, so you can touch base with them.
Nancy, someone is asking if the $20 gold ride will take you from Ann Arbor to the airport.
No, that will not take you to the airport. However, if the air ride is again the area that it goes to in Ann Arbor is between the Blake Transit Center and the Ann Arbor District Library on 5th Avenue. And so it goes directly from there to the airport. So if you can get to that location, whether if you take Gold Ride or if you take the public bus or somebody drops you off, you might want to go to, if you just Google Michigan Flyer, I have their information. I'll send it to you guys or my PowerPoint. So you have their direct information. I believe there is a floor, I think it's the 4th floor, can't be sure, in the parking structure there on William that you can park your car for a lower fare to be able to keep your car there if you're making a trip.
Okay, that's great information. And for our participants, Tracy, as she just said, is planning on sending her PowerPoint presentation. So we're happy to forward that and any other materials that she wants to share with us out to anyone who registered for this program. So that will come, probably later today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll send it right after this.
Okay, great. That sounds good. Okay, well, with that, Tracy, we thank you so much for being with us this morning and sharing this really great information. I know it's very difficult for people to figure out, the best services to use and how to get around. It's an ongoing issue, and we appreciate you coming and helping to clarify some things. So, and continuing to be an ongoing resource for us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. And I do want to reach out to all of the participants too. If you do have direct questions, of course, I know that Jennifer has stated to contact them, but you also can contact the ride. Our main office number is 734-973-6500. You can call anytime during our office is open weekdays 8 to 5. So, please just feel free to give us a call. So thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. And with that, we'll go ahead and close the webinar.
Thank you.